Okay, so I need to explain a few things in regards to the Haqiqatjou debate situation. This may be a little complicated, so I really need your full attention in order for you to see how low this guy has fallen and how he's a deceptive person. On the 25th of May, I challenged Daniel to a debate on الولاية التكوينية. الولاية التكوينية is defined as the Imam, one of the 12 Imams, or all 12 Imams, having complete control over all the atoms in the universe. He responded by saying that he agreed to this debate. However, notice how in the end of his post he says to me, I've also said that some definitions of الولاية التكوينية are outright shirk. What Daniel here is referring to is something that's called tafweed, which basically is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving the ability to control all the atoms to the imams and then Allah stepping out of the picture. This isn't even al-wilayat takwiniya, but Daniel refers to it as such, as I've shown in my video that I've called Haqiqatjou is a shirk apologist. Habibi, focus. If you're not going to focus, you're going to lose track of what's going on. Anyhow, Daniel agreed to debate me on this topic of al-tafweed, which is really weird because we both agree on that it's shirk. Like, why would you even agree to debate me on something when we have the same position? So I understood what was going on, and because of that, I formulated the debate title explicitly. Does the belief that the 12 Imams possess control over all the atoms in the universe constitute shirk akbar if they are dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Farid, yes. Daniel, no. Of course, as you can see in the video below, this is actually Daniel's position.
Does a person believe that the saint or the imam is an independent power, independent from Allah, controlling the universe independently from the power of Allah? Yes or no? That is something that will factor in, because if you say it's an independent power from Allah, then clearly this is shirk akbar. You think that there are multiple gods in the universe, for example. But if you don't think, you think that Allah has given power to a specific person like an imam or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then you can still think that it's shirk. You can still think that it's kufr. But is it known with certainty? Is it known with certainty that that's shirk?
But with someone like Khomeini, I'm not convinced that the man is a Muslim. I mean, I'm not convinced that there's enough to say that he's a Muslim, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I believe he's a kafir. I mean, he explicitly affirmed this belief of wilayat takwiniya. I mean, he has many other problematic beliefs, but anyway.
Did Khomeini say he believed in independent power of the imams?
In response, Haqiqatjou pretends that it isn't his position. Instead, he wants to debate three other positions that I actually agree with him on. So what are these positions? The first position is, of course, a tafweed, which I just previously mentioned. The second position is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers the du'as of people. Obviously, that's not shirk. The third position is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants some of his believers, worshippers, supernatural powers like Sulaiman alayhi salam, miracles, yani. Obviously, this is not shirk. So why are you agreeing to debate me on a topic when we have the same position? But I know the game. Haqiqatjou knows that debates bring clicks, brings views, brings super chats. He wants to take digs at Sunni scholars. He wants to implicate them of shirk in some way or another because he wants to attain some sort of twisted revenge against the Salafis that have turned their backs against him. Now you may think that sounds weird, but here is a post from Haqiqatjou claiming that Imam Ahmad potentially fell into shirk. And by the way, Haqiqatjou claims to be a Hanbali.
The people who will attend want to know where you stand regarding the manhaj.
Yeah, so people might be familiar with Athari, manhaj, Athari, Aqidah, or sometimes it's known as the Hanbali Aqidah because it traces to Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah.
So yes, a Hanbali is claiming that his own Imam may have fell into shirk. And that's how low this guy's gotten. And maybe next he's going to start throwing the Sahaba under the bus. In any case, nothing happened for a while, but on the 31st of October last month, Haqiqatjou finally agreed to the debate topic. And it seemed like this was going to occur until he said that he wanted a 2-hour dialogue within the debate, which is something I've never seen before in any debate. It seems like initially Daniel had a problem with people viewing him as a shirk advocate. However, during the past few months, he's kind of gotten used to it. And so he was willing to take the hit as long as he gets to talk about whatever he liked for 2 hours. It also seems like he's totally accepted the role of being the validator of shirk from within the Sunni community. So there are a couple of things you need to be aware of which led to this debate not happening. The main thing is it's all about preventing Haqiqatjou from derailing the topic. And of course, due to this, I'm not interested in having a 2-hour dialogue within a debate. And equally important was that the moderator wanted both parties to stick to the topic, so he requested both of us to send our opening statements to him. I was happy to do so. Daniel didn't want to share his opening statement. I wonder why. By the way, we're not sharing opening statements with each other. We're sharing the opening statements with the mod. Neutral mod that Daniel agreed to. He also told the mod that he should be allowed to say whatever he likes and that the mod shouldn't prevent him from derailing the subject. And if he was off topic, then the audience gets to decide if he's off topic or not. And then he tried to bring his own moderator, one that was known for publishing anti-Salafi material, and of course I refused. It became very obvious that Haqiqatjou had no intention to sticking to the topic. And this was not the first time that Haqiqatjou did this. A few months ago, he had a debate with David Wood, and he picked the actual topic. And the topic was, which religion portrays Jesus with more respect, Islam or Christianity? Of course, when thinking of a title like that, you'd probably think that Daniel would bring biblical verses that perhaps portray Jesus in a negative light and then compare them to some statements in Islam that portray him in a positive light. It would be a very tough debate to win because, of course, Christians worship Jesus. However, no, he had a completely different strategy. Here are some clips from his opening statement.
There are only two religions that are positive about Jesus, Islam and Christianity, and there's only one religion that actively hates Jesus, and that's Judaism. Despite this fact, many modern Christians, like David, especially in the US, have a special place of love and veneration for Judaism. Religious Jews are actively working to build their third temple in Jerusalem in order to summon the false Messiah. Meanwhile, Christians like David Wood are actively involved in public relations for this Zionist cause. Please explain to us, David, how you can respect Jesus, but you can also support a people and a state that are actively involved in summoning the Antichrist. Aren't you in reality a prostitute for the literal Antichrist? But after World War II, a major effort began to overhaul Christian theology. International Jewish groups blamed anti-Semitic Christian teachings for the Holocaust. The American Jewish Committee and World Jewish Congress demanded Christians revise their centuries-old doctrines. Instead of refusing, Christians accepted collective guilt, admitting their theology was responsible for the Holocaust. Millions of Christians were killed in Europe and Russia by Jewish communists like Lazar Kaganovich, who starved 3.5 to 5 million Christians in Ukraine. Millions more were killed in Soviet Russia by Bolsheviks, most of whom were ethnic Jews. Yet no Christian demanded Jews reform their theology. No Christian blamed these atrocities on the Talmud or Jewish legal texts, which explicitly call for violence against Jesus' followers. These texts are still taught, by the way, and Jews in Israel and elsewhere continue to spit on Christians, kill them, and destroy churches. Do Christians have an ounce of respect for themselves, let alone Jesus?
So yeah, instead of arguing that Muslims respect Jesus more, what he actually did was he blasted the Jews for, I don't know, like 20 minutes. And then he said, you see, you guys are allies with the Jews, and therefore Muslims respect Jesus more. Now, Daniel, if you wanted to debate Christian Zionism, then you should have just insisted upon that. If you wanted to debate the atrocities of Zionists, then just insist on that. Instead, he showed up at a debate and debated something that is different from the actual topic.
My question is for Daniel. I'd like David to comment as well. Daniel, in your first rebuttal, you made a very interesting comment. You said, can David have the respect to actually prepare for the debate topic at hand? I am very confused because I can't figure out what the debate topic is. You seem to be debating, should Christians be Zionists or not, or are Jews evil or not, or something along those lines. So my question is, did you propose a topic of, should Christians be Zionists? And David, did you agree with that topic? And maybe James can clarify as well what the debate topic was supposed to be.
No, Daniel challenged me to debate which religion respects Jesus more, and I agreed because I thought that was an interesting topic. But I mean, it's just really weird that was just sort of an in to complain about Jews, because think, you're not saying is David Wood more respectful to Jesus by siding with Zionists or something like that. It's the religion. It's the religion that we're talking about. Is Christianity more respectful towards Jesus than Islam?
Here's the thing, guys. Why do debates exist? Both parties are familiar with the topic. They study the topic further. They present the best case they can for the specific position that they're upon. They spend weeks, sometimes months in preparation. But instead, we got this. So Daniel goes completely off topic and ties it loosely to the debate title. And sure, Daniel made some good points. Daniel displayed the hypocrisy of David Wood. Yeah, that's good. But no serious person, no serious observer will appreciate you as a debater, because they know that you have no intention to engage in the topic that you yourself proposed. Oh, and the Christians actually paid Daniel to debate and represent Islam. Now, if they're paying you, then at least be faithful to the topic that you proposed. So let's summarize. Daniel in May agreed to debate me on a topic, but after pressing him, he wanted to debate me on matters that we actually agreed upon. Daniel dodged the topic that we actually differed on, pretending it wasn't his position. Again, see this video to understand how he manipulated the definition of the term wilayat takwiniyya. Daniel last month wanted a 2-hour discussion session during a debate and didn't want the mod to actually moderate the debate. And finally, Daniel has a history of derailing debates. Daniel, you need to be aware of something. I don't need this debate. You need this debate. People, they're calling you a mushrik. People, they're calling you a secret Shi'i. Sunnis are doing this. People that were your followers are doing this. I'm not saying I agree with them. But Daniel, if you want to salvage your own reputation, then you're the one that needs this debate. You're the one that needs to convince Ahl Sunnah that shirk is valid. So you're given the chance to validate that shirk, and instead, you decided to insult me and slander me. That's not how normal people react when debate negotiations fail. And when you slander me, it doesn't harm me. It only harms yourself, because that's your character being displayed for all to see. And that's why most of the du'at can't stand you. And there are even people that are close to you that can't stand you. Now, the weirdest thing is that the manners that are supposed to rub off on you, Islamic manners that you are calling people to, these haven't affected you, which is why you shouldn't be representing Islam. And Daniel, if you came out tomorrow and said that you're a Shi'i, I would still say the same thing. You shouldn't be representing Shi'ism. You shouldn't be representing anything. If you represented Shi'ism, you'd only be playing into the negative taqiyya stereotype that's stuck to the Shi'is, and you would be ruining the image of innocent, truthful Shi'is. So keep validating shirk and keep bearing your reputation further. I'll be sure to give you a hand. And to the rest of you guys, sub to the channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have to be hostile because here I'm sitting in front of these people, Christians, mocking me and laughing at me. So I'm going to give it back. I'm going to mock at these dysgenic degenerates. Your gut is hanging out.
All right.
Your gut is hanging out of your shirt. I don't want to see that. Wear a bigger shirt. I don't want to see your gut.
We've got to refocus.